because you thought that um, you have that there are many concepts which is not clear. So let us first discuss what doubt you have. यस बताओ क्या डाउट है तो हम क्लियर कर लेते हैं पहले. कोई डाउट है? तो कहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम है ये पहले बताओ.
हेलो सर.
हम्म.
सर एक बार प्रोडक्ट टोपोलॉजी का कंसेप्ट वापस बता दोगे?
प्रोडक्ट टोपोलॉजी का ओपन सेट.
यस सर.
सो कौन से प्रोडक्ट टोपोलॉजी, प्रोडक्ट ऑफ टू स्पेस और
सर वो इंडेक्स सेट वाला आर्बिट्रेरी.
आर्बिटरी.
यस सर.
ओके. सो प्रोडक्ट सेट का ओपन सेट मीन्स, सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल बेसिस एलिमेंट लेते हैं. सो बेसिस एलिमेंट ऑफ से आर से जे. ओके. तो आर जे मीन्स it is product of that index set, that is R. Each copy is of actually R, or you can write in the form of, that's mean if X belongs to that Rj, that's mean X equal to is this form X alpha, alpha belongs to J, where X alpha belongs to R. Each of X alpha belongs to R. That's mean it is any arbitrary product of real line itself. Okay. Now, if we talk about that product topology, on this Rj, any basis element will be that product of U alpha, where U alpha equal to R for all except finitely many values of alpha. So say these are alpha 1, alpha 2 up to alpha n. So that's mean U of alpha I, that is a proper open set in R, and U alpha equal to whole R if alpha is not equal to alpha 1, alpha 2 up to alpha n. So these types of basis elements Rj have. Now what are the arbitrary open sets? Any open sets will be, any open sets in Rj will be union of this kind of basis elements. So that's mean this is an open set, and if you take some product of this U alpha and say union of some say V alpha, now this is open in Rj. Now similarly, if you take any arbitrary union of this type of basis elements, then that is also open. So in particular, you can say that this is open set in Rj in the product topology. And suppose if you want to take j equal to say countable, that's mean r omega. Now you can see that say minus 1 comma 1. That is just an example. Say again minus 1 comma 1, say up to minus 1 comma 1, and all the product are this way. It is open in r omega with respect to product topology. If you take this, say 1r, and say remaining all that, and then again it is open in r omega. And suppose you have this kind of set, say this r, say this r, so this r. Say it repeats in this way, then is not open in r omega. Why? Because the sets which is proper sets, proper open sets, proper open subsets of R, this number is infinite if we take in this way. Now tell me, so what doubt you have? Is that clear?
Yes sir, good.
हाँ ठीक है. So और कोई डाउट है?
सर ये ओपन कैसे हुआ, एक बार दोबारा बताएंगे?
कौन सा?
ये जो क्रॉस प्रोडक्ट लिखा है इसका.
हाँ वही तो बाय डेफिनेशन, क्योंकि यही है ना डेफिनेशन. हम मान के चल रहे हैं कि वो सेट्स प्रोडक्ट ऑफ यू अल्फा ओपन है इफ एंड ओनली ये डेफिनेशन है एक्चुअली कि यू अल्फा इक्वल टू आर फॉर ऑल एक्सेप्ट फाइनाइटली मैनी. मतलब अगर हम ऐसे कोई प्रोडक्ट लेते हैं जिसमें ओनली फाइनाइट एलिमेंट्स, फाइनाइट यू अल्फा ओपन प्रॉपर ओपन सेट्स होगा और बाकी सब के लिए वो टोटल सेट आर हो जाएगा, देन हम इस प्रोडक्ट को बोलेंगे ओपन सेट्स. A definition in product topology.
Okay sir, got it.
ठीक है. तो और कोई डाउट है प्रीवियस कोई लेक्चर से, या फिर मैं स्टार्ट करूं न्यू?
सर वो डिक्शनरी ऑर्डर वाला बताएंगे एक बार?
हाँ क्यों नहीं.
से एक्स को आपने वो सेट लिया था ना, सेट कंटेनिंग 1 2 क्रॉस एन.
हाँ डिक्शनरी ऑर्डर मतलब कि कोई भी, मान लो कि कोई भी एक सेट से एक्स में है ऑर्डर टोपोलॉजी एंड वाई में है ऑर्डर टोपोलॉजी. इसमें भी ऑर्डर है, इसमें भी ऑर्डर है, तो हम इसका प्रोडक्ट पे हम यूज करेंगे डिक्शनरी ऑर्डर. इसका मतलब कोई भी एक्स से दो एलिमेंट लेता हूं, से ए क्रॉस बी, हम ऐसे लिखेंगे, हम ए कॉमा बी ऐसे नहीं लिखेंगे. ठीक है, क्योंकि अगर ऐसे लिखेंगे तो फिर मतलब समझ में प्रॉब्लम आता है. ठीक है, तो हम ऐसे लेंगे, से ए क्रॉस बी वन एलिमेंट एंड से सी क्रॉस डी वन एलिमेंट बिलोंग्स टू एक्स क्रॉस वाई. हम ऐसे लेंगे. अब बोलेंगे ए क्रॉस बी लेस देन सी क्रॉस डी if and only either a less than c. अगर a less than c होता है देन हम डायरेक्टली बोलेंगे दिस, तो हम b और d को नहीं देखेंगे. और मान लो कि अगर इक्वल होता है, और अगर a इक्वल होता है देन हम नेक्स्ट कंपोनेंट में जाएंगे एंड b लेस देन d. ठीक है, तो a होता है. एंड इसमें ओपन सेट्स कैसा होगा देन ओपन सेट इस टाइप के फॉर्म में होगा, क्योंकि इसमें ओपन सेट्स ए क्रॉस बी कॉमा सी क्रॉस डी इस फॉर्म में होगा. इसके मतलब मान लो कि R2 है, सपोज मान लो कि ये ए क्रॉस बी है, ये मान लो कि सी क्रॉस डी है. देन ओपन सेट्स होगा, पहले ऐसे जाएगा, देन ऐसे होगा, देन ऐसे होगा, ऐसे. हमें पता नहीं है कि नेक्स्ट लाइन कहाँ से स्टार्ट होगा, तो ऐसे चलता जाएगा. तो यहाँ से स्टार्ट होगा और यहाँ पे आके खत्म हो जाएगा।
मीन सर ये सारा रीजन आएगा इसके बीच का?
हाँ, सारा रीजन आएगा। तो ए जाएगा ऊपर से, देन ये पूरा के पूरा लाइन ही आ जाएगा, ये पूरा के पूरा लाइन ही आ जाएगा। तो हम ऐसे नीचे से ऊपर ड्रॉ करेंगे, क्योंकि ये ऑलरेडी नीचे से ऊपर ही जाएगा, और नेक्स्ट कहाँ पे होगा पता नहीं। जैसे कि अगर मैं तुम्हें अगर मतलब पूछता हूँ कि मान लो कि रियल लाइन में व्हाट इज द नेक्स्ट एलिमेंट ऑफ 2, कैन यू से दैट? यू कैनॉट से, राइट? व्हाट इज द नेक्स्ट एलिमेंट ऑफ 2? सिमिलरली वी कैनॉट से दैट व्हाट विल बी द नेक्स्ट लाइन, बट हमें पता है कि ना नेक्स्ट जो लाइन होगा वो नीचे से ऊपर जाएगा, ये हमेशा एक डायरेक्शन में रहेगा, ठीक है, नीचे से ऊपर। तो ऐसे ऐसे जाएगा और यहाँ पे आके स्टॉप हो जाएगा। तो सी और डी के ऊपर कुछ भी आएगा नहीं, सो सी और डी के ऊपर कुछ भी आएगा नहीं, यहाँ पे आके स्टॉप हो जाएगा, और ए क्रॉस बी के नीचे कुछ आएगा नहीं। तो ऐसे, और तुम अगर इसको अगर लिखना चाहो तो ऐसे तुम लिख सकते हो। तो तुम देखो, पहले इसको देखो, ए क्या है, ए क्रॉस बी टू इंफिनिटी, है ना? तो हमारा क्या है, ए फिक्स्ड है, सिंगलटन सेट, क्रॉस बी टू इंफिनिटी, ए वाला सेट हो गया, ए लाइन। देन बीच वाला क्या होगा, टोटल हमें ए कॉमा सी, ये जो ओपन इंटरवल होगा दिस, और यू कैन राइट इन द बेटर फॉर्म, ये है डिसजॉइंट यूनियन होता है, x बिलोंग्स टू a कॉमा सी वेयर सिंगलटन x क्रॉस माइनस इन्फिनिटी टू इन्फिनिटी, ये पूरा के पूरा लाइन आएगा इसके बीच में, ठीक है।
सर
एंड उसके बाद यूनियन आएगा तुम्हारा ओनली जो सी लाइन होगा, सी लाइन, और डी का ऊपर नहीं आएगा, सो माइनस इन्फिनिटी टू डी, ठीक है, ऐसा होगा। तो हमेशा ऐसा ही लेना है। अगर कोई भी लिस्ट एलिमेंट और ग्रेटेस्ट एलिमेंट नहीं है, और अगर लिस्ट एलिमेंट होता है, देन हम ए जीरो क्रॉस बी जीरो लेंगे, देन सी क्रॉस डी ऐसे लेंगे। और अगर मैक्सिमम एलिमेंट भी रहता है, देन ए होगा ए क्रॉस बी कॉमा सम सी जीरो क्रॉस डी जीरो, ऐसा, ठीक है। और जैसे कि मैंने उस दिन लिया था एग्जांपल से 1 क्रॉस 2 क्रॉस n, तो मतलब ऐसे 1 ऐसे चलता जाएगा, है ना? तो जैसे कि ये था हमारा 2 क्रॉस 1, अगर हम 2 क्रॉस 1 का कोई भी नेबरहुड लेंगे तो कैसे आएगा? तो 2 क्रॉस 1 से कॉन्टेन करके कोई भी पॉइंट आएगा, देन ऊपर कहाँ से स्टॉप होगा, है ना? तो अगर मान लो कि 2 क्रॉस 1 इसका कॉन्टेन करके एक ओपन सेट लेना है, तो जो राइट साइड में क्या होगा, 2 क्रॉस सम b होगा, where b इज बिगर देन 1, है ना, कॉमा। और लेफ्ट साइड में क्या होगा, इसका पहला एलिमेंट क्या होगा, पहला एलिमेंट क्या होगा पता नहीं मुझे, बट हमें ये पता है कि इसका जो पहला एलिमेंट होगा वो इसका किसी भी इस लाइन में रहेगा, ये जो डॉटेड लाइन है इसमें रहेगा। देन ए सम 1 क्रॉस सम ए से स्टार्ट होगा, है ना, हो गया। देन दिस इसमें रहेगा। सो दैट्स मीन अगर 2 क्रॉस 1 को कॉन्टेंट के कोई भी ओपन सेट लेता हूं, उसमें वो इस फॉर्म में होगा, देन 1 क्रॉस ए प्लस 1 ए इसमें रह जाएगा। सो सिंगलटन 2 क्रॉस 1 ए ओपन नहीं होगा, क्योंकि 2.1 2 क्रॉस 1 इसे कॉन्टेंट करके कोई भी ओपन सेट में इस टाइप का एलिमेंट्स आ ही जाएगा, ठीक है।
सर इस टाइप का एलिमेंट आ जाएगा तो वो ओपन कैसे नहीं होगा, मतलब ये नहीं समझ आया।
अच्छा, ओपन सेट्स का डेफिनेशन बताओ क्या है। अगर तुम्हें सिंगलटन 2 क्रॉस 1 इसको हम ओपन बोल लेंगे, तो इसको मतलब क्या है? वो फिर इसका मतलब बताओ, मतलब डेफिनेशन बताओ कि क्या है।
कि सर ये इंटीरियर पॉइंट होना चाहिए, पहली बात तो।
हाँ, इंटीरियर पॉइंट का डेफिनेशन क्या है? इसका मतलब 2x1 इसको कॉन्टेन करके कोई भी एक ओपन बेसिस ओपन सेट रहेगा जो इसका सबसेट होगा।
यस सर।
तो इसको कॉन्टेन करके कैसे एलिमेंट होता है? इस टाइप का एलिमेंट ही होता है, मतलब इस एलिमेंट को कॉन्टेन करके इस टाइप का ही बेसिस एलिमेंट होता है।
गॉट इट सर, समझ।
और इसमें एक ऐसा एलिमेंट आ जाएगा तो ये कभी भी सबसेट होगा ही नहीं, है ना?
यस सर, थैंक यू सर।
सर थोड़ा सब बेसिस की डेफिनेशन में कंफ्यूजन है।
हाँ बताओ क्या कंफ्यूजन है?
सब बेसिस से मतलब कोई सब बेसिस लेके ओपन सेट क्रिएट करके दिखाओ ना।
ओपन सेट क्रिएट करके
दिखाना मतलब देखना है ओपन सेट कैसे क्रिएट होता है सब बेसिस से।
अच्छा, तो मान लो कि एक सेट है ऐसा, सो माइनस इन्फिनिटी टू ए कमा से बी से ए कमा इन्फिनिटी, इस टाइप का एलिमेंट होता है ए बी फ्रॉम आर। ठीक है, तो ये एक फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ये एक सब बेसिस होता है। क्यों? क्योंकि R इज यूनियन ऑफ दिस सेट्स। व्हाई? क्योंकि R को तुम ऐसे लिख सकते हो माइनस इन्फिनिटी कॉमा से 1 यूनियन 0 कॉमा इन्फिनिटी। तो R को तुम दो सब बेसिस के एलिमेंट्स के यूनियन में लिख पाए, तो दैट्स मीन S इज ए फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल सब बेसिस ऑफ R, ऑफ ए टोपोलॉजी बोल सकते हो, ऑफ ए टोपोलॉजी ऑन R। क्योंकि इसके दो एलिमेंट्स लिया मैंने, उसको ओपन उसके यूनियन आर हो जाता है। दैट्स मीन आर इज यूनियन ऑफ एलिमेंट्स ऑफ एस। ठीक है, अब एस टेक 26 होता है, तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल तुम चेक करो कि एस बेसिस है क्या नहीं। देखो एस बेसिस नहीं है, क्योंकि अगर तुम माइनस इन्फिनिटी कॉमा ऐसे 1 लोगे, इंटरसेक्शन 0 कॉमा इन्फिनिटी लोगे, तो ये हो जाएगा तुम्हारा 0 कॉमा 1, जो एस में नहीं है। तो दो बेसिस का एलिमेंट का इंटरसेक्शन इसमें नहीं है। और भी बोल सकते हो कि एलिमेंट लिए हो, ये तुम्हारा मान लो कि ए मत बोलो, दिस। ठीक है, अभी कोई भी एस में, सो देयर इज नो एलिमेंट इन एस, नो एलिमेंट यू इन एस सच दैट यू सबसेट ऑफ 0 1, है ना? तो इसका मतलब एस इज नॉट ए बेसिस, राइट? क्योंकि बेसिस का डेफिनेशन क्या है कि कोई भी दो बेसिस एलिमेंट्स के इंटरसेक्शन के नीचे ऐसे B3 हो जाता है। ऐसे में पता है ना, बेसिस के डेफिनेशन में था। तो कोई भी तुम दो बेसिस एलिमेंट्स लोगे तो उसका इंटरसेक्शन में B3 होगा, बट यहाँ पे दोनों के इंटरसेक्शन में ओनली 0 1 हो रहा है। तो बट एस का कोई भी एलिमेंट्स इसमें नहीं रहेगा, तो एस इज नॉट ए बेसिस। ठीक है, अब देखो,
हाँ
अब देखो कोई भी एलिमेंट फॉर एनी इंटरवल ए बी, और एनी इंटरवल ए बी, तुम इसको लिख सकते हो ए बी इक्वल टू माइनस इन्फिनिटी कॉमा बी इंटरसेक्शन ए कॉमा इन्फिनिटी। तो कोई भी इंटरवल को तुम इसके इंटरसेक्शन में तुम लिख सकते हो एस के एलिमेंट्स। सो दैट्स मीन एस जनरेट्स द बेसिस दिस a comma b where a b belongs to R। तो ये तुम्हारा है बेसिस, और हमें पता है ये बेसिस यूजुअल टोपोलॉजी को बनाता है। ठीक है, तो एस मैंने एक कलेक्शन लिया जिसके एलिमेंट्स के यूनियन आर हो जाता है, तो एस एक सब बेसिस हो जाता है। बट एस बेसिस नहीं है बट हम इसका अगर इंटरसेक्शन लेंगे एलिमेंट्स को तो हमें इस टाइप के एलिमेंट्स मिल जाता है। तो हम बोल सकते हैं कि A जनरेट्स द बेसिस दिस वेयर AB बिलोंग्स टू R, और हमें पता है कि ये कलेक्शन बेसिस होता है। सो देयरफॉर दिस इज योर बेसिस एंड वी नो दैट दिस इज ए बेसिस फॉर यूजुअल टोपोलॉजी। तो हम यहाँ से बोलेंगे ये जो हमारा कलेक्शन था एस ये तुम्हारा सब बेसिस फॉर यूजुअल टोपोलॉजी। ठीक है।
ओके सर, मतलब पहले इंटरसेक्शन लेना, बाद में यूनियन लेना।
हाँ, तो बेसिस से
ओपन
तुम जब टोपोलॉजी बनाओगे पहले ऑल पॉसिबल फाइनाइट इंटरसेक्शन लोगे, देन बेसिस मिलेगा, देन ऑल पॉसिबल आर्बिट्ररी यूनियन लोगे, देन ओपन सेट मिलेगा, मतलब आर्बिट्ररी ओपन सेट मिलेगा।
ओके सर, थैंक यू।
ओके, और कोई क्वेश्चंस?
सर हेलो।
हाँ,
सर को काउंटेबल टोपोलॉजी में हम ये कैसे शो करेंगे कि कोई भी कन्वर्जेंट सीक्वेंस इवेंचुअली कांस्टेंट हो जाएगी?
को काउंटेबल टोपोलॉजी में?
यस सर।
ओके, तो मान लो कि आर में है को काउंटेबल टोपोलॉजी, को काउंटेबल, ठीक है। तो मान लो कि xn is a convergent sequence, okay, such that or converts to say x, so that's mean xn converts to x as n tends to infinity. now हमें a क्लेम कर रहा हूं, so xn इक्वल टू x हो जाएगा, ओके, मतलब इवेंचुअली कांस्टेंट सीक्वेंस हो जाएगा। सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल एक so if xn not equal to x for all x, for all n, मान लो कि सीक्वेंस का कोई भी टर्म x के साथ इक्वल नहीं है, ठीक है। तो तुम्हारा ये जो कलेक्शन है ये क्या होगा? काउंटेबल होगा। काउंटेबल होगा ना?
यस सर।
फाइनाइट भी हो सकता है, हमें पता नहीं है ना, बट काउंटेबल होगा। सो दैट्स मीन अगर तुम u को लोगे कि r माइनस ए सेट एक्स एन इन बिलोंग्स टू नेचुरल नंबर, तो a ओपन हो जाएगा, को काउंटेबल टोपोलॉजी, ठीक है। अब क्या है कि x से नॉट इक्वल टू x है, इसका मतलब x जो है u में होगा, क्योंकि हम ओनली सीक्वेंस के एलिमेंट को
यस सर। हाँ
डिलीट
यस सर।
किया हो, है ना, और x
यस
तो
सर।
नहीं है x तो इसका मतलब u क्या है? u इज ए ओपन सेट containing x
कंटेनिंग एक्स।
but do not contain any element of xn.
यस सर।
So that's mean xn converges to x, ए होगा नहीं, कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन आ गया,
ओके ओके।
ठीक है। तो इसके मतलब
थैंक यू सर।
अगर xn x में कन्वर्ज होना है तो आफ्टर सम स्टेज ऑल द एलिमेंट शुड बी x,
ओके ओके, थैंक यू सर।
ओके। और एनी क्वेश्चन? और
सर
हम्म
A क्रॉस B कॉम्प्लीमेंट A कॉम्प्लीमेंट क्रॉस B कॉम्प्लीमेंट हो सकता है ऐसे कुछ?
ये कॉम्प्लीमेंट
A क्रॉस B कॉम्प्लीमेंट इक्वल्स टू A कॉम्प्लीमेंट प्लस B कॉम्प्लीमेंट, इज इट ट्रू?
ये तो शेड थ्योरी का प्रॉब्लम है ना। तुम ये ड्रॉ करो आर में तुम ऐसे लेके देखो, ए कॉमा बी क्रॉस सी कॉमा डी, तो तुम ये ड्रॉ करके देखो कि ट्रू हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है। तो ए तुम्हारा होगा क्या है, ए होगा, इसके कॉम्प्लीमेंट मतलब ए होगा, और देन तुम इसके कॉम्प्लीमेंट करो, तुम पिक्चर ड्रॉ करके देखो। ये तो तुम्हारा शेड थ्योरी का प्रॉब्लम से, ये टोपोलॉजी का कोई रिलेशन नहीं इसके साथ। तुम इस एग्जांपल लेके देखो, पिक्चर ड्रॉ करके देखो। जब भी शेड थ्योरेटिकल प्रोग्राम मतलब कोई भी प्रॉब्लम आएगा, हमेशा ट्राई करो कि मतलब पिक्चर ड्रॉ करो और पिक्चर से देखो कि ट्रू हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है। और कोई भी उसका जो मतलब शेड थ्योरेटिकल जो प्रूफ भी होता है, वो भी तुम्हारा पिक्चर से फॉलो हो जाता है। मतलब पहले तुम पिक्चर ड्रॉ करो, देन जैसे तुम्हारा पिक्चर है ऐसे ही तुम स्टेटमेंट को लिखो, तो ये प्रूफ भी हो जाएगा। ठीक है, तो देखो बस, ये तो सिंपल चाहिए। ओके, सो कोई टोपोलॉजी का जो मैंने जो पढ़ा है उसमें कोई कन्फ्यूजन और कोई डाउट है?
सर के टोपोलॉजी को एक बार बताओगे फिर से?
अच्छा, के टोपोलॉजी, के मतलब होता है तुम्हारा ये 1/n where n belongs to नेचुरल नंबर दिस। ठीक है, तो के टोपोलॉजी मतलब होता है तुम्हारा ऑल द बेसिस एलिमेंट अगर तुम लोगे ए बी where a b belongs to R, ऐसे कलेक्शन लोगे यूनियन और भी ओपन सेट ऐड कर दोगे उसमें, तो उसमें तुम a b माइनस के, ठीक है, ये भी तुम बिलोंग्स टू आर कर दो। ठीक है, तो क्या होगा कि, तो पहले ए तो बताओ कि मान लो कि से 0 1 माइनस के, ए जो सेट होता है, ए के यूजुअल टोपोलॉजी में ए क्या ओपन होता है? यस और नो?
ओपन होगा सर।
ओपन होगा। तो तुम्हारा ए जो सेट होगा 1/n, ये तुम्हारी यूजुअल टोपोलॉजी में क्लोज्ड होता है?
नो सर।
क्यों नहीं होता है?
इसका कॉम्प्लीमेंट
जीरो
ओपन।
से कन्वर्ज नहीं होता।
इसका जो जीरो इसका लिमिट पॉइंट है ना, जीरो इसका क्लोजर में है, बट है ना, बट जीरो इसमें नहीं है,
यस सर।
तो ये क्लोज नहीं होता है। तो सो ए क्लोज नहीं है, इसका मतलब ए ओपन नहीं है यूजुअल टोपोलॉजी में, है ना। तो यूजुअल टोपोलॉजी में ए ओपन नहीं है, तो हम एक क्या कर रहा हूँ कि ए एक्स्ट्रा डाल रहा हूँ, तो फिर ये और भी बिगर कलेक्शन हो गया, है ना। ये जो अभी बिगर कलेक्शन हो गया, इसको हम बोलेंगे आरके टोपोलॉजी, जिसका बेसिस एलिमेंट आइदर दिस फॉर्म और दिस फॉर्म। ठीक है, तो by the construction you can say that it is strictly finer than usual topology on earth। ठीक है,
ओके सर।
ओके, तो मैं स्टार्ट करता हूं अभी। हाँ, और कोई डाउट तो है नहीं? ठीक है, एनीवे, तो डू यू रिमेम्बर मैट्रिक स्पेस? So metric was a
Yes,
simple
sir.
one, right? You remember. Then what is metric? Metric D is a function from some x cross x to R, right? Such that it satisfies some property. One property is d of xy is always bigger equal to 0, and d of xy equal to 0 if and only if x equal to y. So this is the one condition. Another condition is d of xy equal to d of yx, and another condition is the triangle property, you can say, right? So it is dxz less than equal to d of xy plus d of yz. You can say it is a triangle inequality, right? So you have these three. So if a function this satisfies these three conditions, then we will say it is a metric on D, right? So and therefore XD is called a metric space. Now मान लो कि this is a metric space, then if you consider this, so x comma epsilon, so that is all the elements of y such that d of x comma y less than epsilon. Okay, so इसका मतलब क्या है? This is a epsilon ball. So that's mean if this is your x and if this is your epsilon, then it is just that epsilon ball, right? So this is some y. So this is your distance of x comma y. So this is less than epsilon. Okay. Now if you take this collection, say b d x epsilon, where epsilon is bigger than 0 and x belongs to x, this collection, say this collection beta. Now can you check that this beta forms a basis? Forms a basis for a topology? Can you check that? Okay. Now check. This is check. This is trivial. Now you should know how to check the basis. Just we have two properties of basis. Just check that. Okay. Now this is your exercise to check that this forms a basis. Now since this forms a basis, that's mean let that tau generates by the basis element beta. Now tau is called the metric topology. Topology on X induced by the metric D. Okay. And we also have metrizable topological space. So A topological space X is called metrizable if the topology on X generated by a metric D. Okay, that's mean then we will call it as a metrizable topological space. Now tell me, if you take that usual topology on R, is it metrizable?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is metrizable. Now under which metric it is metrizable?
Usual metric.
Usual distance.
Right. So usual topology is metrizable by this metric d of xy equal to mod of x minus y. Right, we know that. Fine. Now suppose if I ask you, if you have usual topological space, is it bounded? So what will be your answer? See, remember, see the question, listen the question again. If you have usual topological space, is it bounded? Now what will be your answer?
Sir, the usual topological space is on R, or are you asking any abstract topological space?
In R, on R, usual topology on R, is it bounded?
No, sir.
No, first
Sir,
of all,
topology.
right. So first of all, this is a wrong question.
Sir,
What is the
definition
meaning of
available-
bounded in topology?
Right. That is what I'm saying. So that is a wrong question, right? So there is no meaning of boundedness in topology. So boundedness applies only for the metric space. So that's mean whenever, so you know what is do you mean by bounded, right? That's mean d of xy is less than some m for some number n. For all xy, then only you can say that X is bounded, right? So that's mean a topological space is bounded or not, you cannot say that. So you have to give first a metric and then you have to give, you have to say that it is bounded or not, okay? So that's mean that question is wrong. Now I refine this question a little bit. Now, the usual topology, okay, is a metrizable space. Now, as a metrizable space, the usual topology is bounded or not. Now, what will be your answer?
So I think in this condition, this set X should be bounded, I think.
No. Now again, listen my question. I'm saying that take R with usual topology. Now, we know that it is a metrizable topological space as well. Now, with that metric, is it bounded?
No, sir.
Again, we cannot say that. As I told you, whenever we are saying that it is bounded, that's mean you need a specific D. So the metric which induces the usual topology may not be unique. In fact, that is not unique. So that's mean when if I ask you that usual topology or any topology is metrizable topology, right? And with respect to that topology, the topological space is bounded or not? Again, that is a wrong question because you have to specify D. Because that is the definition. It might have there is another D or D dash which is a metric which induces the same topology. Okay, so I am asking the correct question. In usual topology, we know that usual metric is not bounded. We know that, right? Because dxy equal to mod of x minus y, it is not bounded. We know that. Now, in usual metric, usual topology, can you define a metric which induces the usual topology but bounded?
एक d over 1 plus d.
Right. So that is one. So that is possible, right? So that's mean this is the statement here. So this is the first observation. So usual metric induces usual topology on R, but it is, we can say that RD is not bounded. Okay, because when you say bounded, you have to specify D, otherwise there is no meaning. But we can give a metric, say D bar on R, which induce usual topology and R D closure is bounded. Not D closure, this D bar is bounded. Okay, we can give a metric. For an example, you can give this equal to mod of x minus y by 1 plus 1 this. Some students just give that answer, right? D bar xy. You can give in this way. So this is bounded, okay? And it induces the same topology, same induce usual topology. But anyway, in this course, we will learn another one, which you know, but it has a special name. Its name is standard bounded metric. Okay. So for any metric, you can always have a standard bounded metric and which induce the same topology. So d bar xy is defined by minimum of dxy comma 1. This. Now then d bar and d induces same topological space.
Sir,
Hmm.
in the above metric that you have defined d by 1 plus d,
This one.
yeah, this one,
Uh,
that also is bounded,
this is also bounded, yeah.
and this also generates the same balls.
Right.
So, I mean, we could rather than having this standard bounded method, why are we not simply using that?
Why are not using this one?
Yeah, but because that also is bounded and it also generates the same topology.
Yeah, I right, because it is easy to tackle. Because if your epsilon is less than 1, then your b d x comma epsilon is same as b d bar x comma epsilon. Right? Right? If your epsilon is less than 1, then both ball are same. So it is easy to tackle it.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. So we will use this fact actually. That is the reason we need that. And always remember, whenever we will have d bar, and if you want to solve a problem, by default, you just first of all you assume that everywhere epsilon is less than 1. Because if you assume epsilon is less than 1, even if it is not required, still it may be helpful somewhere. Because this ball and this ball will be same. Right. So since this ball and this ball is same for epsilon less than 1, so from this you can say that D and D closure induces the same topological space. Okay. So I have proved it actually. So I have proved it. Don't worry about that. I will send you in the lecture notes. That is a simple one. Very simple. Okay. Now on RJ. RJ. Now you asked what is the definition of RJ, right? So that's mean if X belongs to Rj, that's mean X is obtained from X alpha and each of X alpha belongs to R. Okay. Now in Rj, we already gave two topology. Remember, na? What is topology? We gave product topology and we gave also box topology. Right? And you have also proved that product of box topology is strictly finer than the product topology. We have also proved that. Now we will give another topology called uniform topology. Uniform topology. Now we will give this one. Now what is uniform topology? Now we define a matrix space in this way. So define a matrix space on Rj by what is okay, it is x comma y equal to, it is supremum of this x alpha y alpha, where alpha belongs to that j. And what is d bar x alpha y alpha? That is minimum 1 comma d bar, sorry, 1 comma x alpha minus y alpha. This. Now first again check. You have already done the course on matrix space, right? in your BSc as well as I think in MSc as well, right? Now check first of all, this is a metric. Okay, this is very easy actually to show that this is metric. Now if you prove that this is metric, then the topology generated by this is called the uniform topology. Uniform topology on Rj. This. So that's when you can say that, in other words, you can say that uniform topology on Rj is metrizable. Okay, right. Now we define this one. Now can you guess some problems from this? So up to this, suppose we proved up to this. Now can you guess something? So what will be the next problems or what we can think about? Yes. Now just I want to know your guess. So what can be the next problem? So you know product topology, box topology, uniform topology, and you have seen that uniform topology is metrizable. And we also know that box topology is finer than product topology. Now, so what is the next question?
Is uniform topology comparable to product or box topology?
Right. So this is one. So product topology, just compare the product topology and box topology with uniform topology. So this is one problem. Now you should try that. Now you know topology. Now you should try that. This is also in the assignment problem, I think, a tutorial problem. But you should know that if you are able to solve it, if you able to compare this product topology, box topology, uniform topology, that's mean you know now everything on topology. Okay, you have to take one basis element, you have to take another basis element, and then you have to compare. Okay, now this is one problem. Now what is the another problem?
Sir, is product or
Are
box topology
product
metrizable?
Right. Now the product topology or box topology is metrizable or not, this. Okay. Now today I will show, that is I will actually solve this problem, but their comparison is also important. Now that is I left as an exercise. You should try. And if you don't get, then anyway, we will solve it. But you first try to compare that product topology, box topology, and uniform topology. Okay. And now we will prove that which one is metrizable and which one is not, that product topology and box topology. Now first we prove that R omega with product topology is metrizable. Okay. Now this is the first one which we'll prove now. Now we have to define a metric. So what you need to prove? So we need to define a metric, say D on R omega, which induces the product topology. Right? Okay. Now we define this metric by this. So D of say x comma y equal to, now supremum, here it is natural number, so you can write it as natural number, D bar xi comma yi, now divided by I. That is important. This way we define it. And you know what is your D bar. So D bar xi yi is just minimum of mod of xi minus yi, comma 1. Now here it is, as I told you, whenever you deal with d bar, always assume that epsilon is less than 1. Then that metric will be same as mod of xi minus yi. Okay, fine. Now let the metric D induces topology tau D and say tau P is the product topology. And again you have exercised that D is a metric space. D is a metric. You have to prove that. That is simple. You can see from this construction, you can easily prove that dxy bigger equal to 0, dxy equal to dyx, dxy equal to 0 if and only if x equal to y, and also you can prove the triangle inequality as well. Anyway, that is given in the lecture note, but it is trivial. Now the metric D induce tau D and say this is your product topology. Now you have to compare tau D and tau P. You have to compare these two. Okay. So,
Sir, can you explain how you define this metric, capital D?
how means? That is the definition.
Means xi, yi, where are you taken from?
Oh. So, what is R omega actually? So, R omega means it is the product of R, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in each R, if you choose xi minus yi mod, you can write some metric here. It is, you can, in this way, you can define a metric in R. Right now, what is your x? X belongs to R omega. What is that? So that's mean x equal to actually your this sequence. So x1, x2 in this way. And what is y? Y is actually this sequence, right? y1, y2 in this way. So what is now d of xy? Now you define first of all. So in the supremum of this, where d bar xy equal to this, you can say here x equal to your sequence xi, I belongs to natural number, y equal to yi, I belongs to natural number. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So I missed this one, but anyway, so whenever you have x and y in R omega, it is understood, means you not understood in the sense that we generally assume that x equal to in the form of x alpha, where alpha belongs to this. We should mention that. Okay, generally I mentioned the lecture note, but here I thought it is, you know that. Okay, so first we compare this. So tau d subset of tau p. First we prove this one. So let u belongs to tau d. Tau d means that induced by the metric D. Okay, now we have to prove that u belongs to tau p. So let x belongs to u. Okay, now since u belongs to tau d, that is induced by the metric D, so therefore there exists a epsilon bigger than 0 such that this ball d x comma epsilon, that is subset of D, subset of U. Is that clear? This one? Since U is an open set under this metric. Okay, so we have an epsilon ball subset of U. Is that fine? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Good. Right. Now there is a trick actually, so how to do? Okay, so first of all, for this epsilon, now you can see that, you can tell me that, okay, how do you know that? Actually, this is not a guess, and this you have to remember. That is what I can say. Because of that construction, you have to remember that. Now for this epsilon, so there is no logic. So how we have to take that? It is required, so you have to do. So for this epsilon bigger than 0, there exists n natural number such that 1 by n less than epsilon. Okay. Now we actually proved that. Now claim that, say, x1 minus epsilon, comma x1 plus epsilon, xn minus epsilon, xn plus epsilon, this. Now then all the r. Okay, now we know that this is x belongs to this. This is subset of this b d x epsilon. Now that you have to remember this step. So we needed one this open set in tau p, that is in the product topology, which is subset of that. Now how to construct this? Now this n coming from this epsilon. Okay, so how it works? Now you will prove that why it works. Okay. Right. Now first of all, now let your y belongs to this set. Now first of all, is it clear, right? Now this is your a basis open set in tau p. It is clear, right? Because see, only finite elements are proper open sets and remaining all are R. Okay, and we use this one to tackle the points after this. Okay, fine. Now for this we know. So what is y? Y is my yi. So that's mean xi minus yi. This one less than epsilon. Okay. So for I equal to 1 to up to n. This one. Okay. Now what is your d bar xi comma yi? That was the definition, right? Where I have written that. D bar xi comma yi. So what is that? Now that is equal to minimum mod of xi minus yi comma 1. Now this, since one term is less than 1, so their minimum, that is also less than epsilon. Right? So for I equal to 1 to up to n. Okay. Now what is the after point? Now what is d bar? So for I bigger than n. Okay. For I bigger than n, what will be your d bar xi comma yi? Now we know this is less than minimum over this. So that is less than equal to 1. right? Now note that why we define the metric in this way by I, because of this. Now see, for this, now if we divide by I, that will be divided by I, and since I is bigger than n, so it will be less than 1 by n. And we also know that 1 by n is less than epsilon. So all the terms will be less than epsilon. So therefore, what is my dxy? Now dxy is supremum of d bar xi yi by I. Now this. Now see, this is same as maximum over. Why I am writing maximum? Because it is now well known d bar x1 y1 by 1 up to d bar xn yn by n. And what are the remaining parts? And remaining parts, we know that for I bigger than n, remaining part is less than 1 by n. So therefore, we can stop here 1 by n. So this. So therefore, we have this. So dxy equal to maximum over this. And we have seen that each of the term, see, each of the term actually it is less than epsilon, and this is 1 by n is also less than epsilon. So therefore, that is less than epsilon. See here, we have each of the d xi yi less than epsilon, and also 1 by n less than epsilon. So therefore, dxy less than epsilon. So we have y belongs to d. So the ball d x epsilon. So we have chosen y from these sets and we find this. So therefore, that set. So x belongs to x1 minus epsilon x1 plus epsilon product all the R, that is subset of b d x comma epsilon, and it is subset of u. Okay, so we have chosen, first of all, taken one u. So what is actually, now you can check. So we have chosen this u from tau d, and we found one basis elements from the product topology. So therefore, u belongs to tau p. So therefore, tau d subset of tau p. So we are done this part. So this was this part. That is complicated little bit, I know. So right.
Sir, in the construction of the metric, could I have used any metric that is bounded instead of this metric?
I did not get your point. So
can you scroll up, sir? Can you scroll up?
So you are asking that instead of d bar, can you choose any other bounded metric?
Yes, sir.
I think right. You can try, but I think there may be a problem.
Because in the case of unbounded, we cannot do that because
because it is less
by
than,
I won't work.
right, because here we need less than 1.
Yes.
That's we need.
But if the metric is bounded, then those are like equivalent, so they should work, no?
No, because see here also in this part, we use that usual metric in this part, because and then that was imply that xi minus yi less than epsilon, because if you choose any arbitrary metric, then how do you consider that?
No, sir, no. So what I'm trying to say is any metric that is bounded and is equivalent to the usual metric.
No, that is different thing, equivalent to the usual metric. But what we use here actually, I understand your point, but I don't know. If you take any arbitrary metrics, now can you construct this kind of open sets? This and then product. So that is my problem. So if you choose any other metric, then there might be a problem here in this portion. You can
But sir,
try.
we don't need to use the same example there, na? Like
Right, it
this.
can have a little bit different as well. Right. Now you are fine. Yeah, I think it is fine. It is fine. You can use that.
Okay, sir.
Right. But for the next part, you have to use, I think. But I think, if you take any other metric, any other bounded metric, this part can be tackled, I think. Right.
Okay,
But
sir.
right. But you can try. You can look. It is not immediate. You can try. But I think it can be. You are right, I think. But for the next part, you need. I'm sure you need. Now for
Okay,
the
sir.
next part, say now tau p subset of tau d. This part. Okay. Now for this part. Now what we will take? We will first take let u belongs to now tau p. Okay. Now since u belongs to tau p, so now we will show that u belongs to tau d. Okay. Now let x belongs to u. Now there exists basis element, then basis element in tau p such that x belongs to product of u alpha. Okay, this ui it will be belongs to natural number subset of u. That is done, right? Now since this is a basis element, now let ui is not equal to r for I equal to alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha n. So only for this ui is not equal to r. Okay, and for remaining ui equal to r. Okay. Now, okay, right. Now for this I equal to alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha n, only for this n number, choose 0 less than epsilon I less than 1 such that here we are choosing less than 1 to tackle that bounded one. As I told you, then both metric will be same. We needed that. Okay. Now less than 1 such that xi minus epsilon I comma xi plus epsilon I, that is subset of ui. Okay. So we can prove this one, right? Why? Because ui, because here ui is an open set in R containing xi, right? We can do that. Now what we'll do, now we need to found one, then d ball, right? Epsilon ball. Now define epsilon equal to minimum over. Now since because of that metric it is forced, we are forced to choose this epsilon 1 by 1, epsilon 2 by 2, epsilon n by n. We need to choose that. Now claim b d x comma epsilon is subset of this. Now claim this. Okay, now if we can prove this, then we are done. Now here is the proof. Now if y belongs to b d x comma epsilon, that imply dxy that is less than epsilon. Now what is dxy? It is supremum of d bar xi yi divided by I. It is less than epsilon. Now there are two cases actually. Now for I equal to I1, I2, that IN, alpha n, we have d bar xi yi divided by I less than epsilon less than, it is no, it is epsilon I by I. Now that imply d bar xi yi, it is less than epsilon I. Now we know that epsilon I is less than 1. So that implies it is mod of xi minus yi less than epsilon I. Less than 1. Right, you are correct. Now here also, if we choose a different metric, say that mod of xy by this, still we will get some interval. That interval will be not as same as this one, but we get something. So that is possible to change that metric by a different metric. Now that implies yi belongs to xi minus epsilon I, comma xi plus epsilon I, that is subset of ey. So that is done for, then for this we already have ey equal to this. Now for I not equal to this one, right? Then what we know? We know that this, so d bar xi yi by I, that is less than epsilon. So that's mean mod of xi minus yi less than I epsilon. Okay. Anyway, we don't need that actually. Okay, so what will be for the other interval? Other interval it is fine, but what will be that? For any other, this will be less than bar, but that what does it mean? Does it mean this one? Epsilon is less than 1. Then minimum 1 is less than 1. What does it mean actually? So that's mean minimum over mod of xi minus yi, comma 1. That too is less than I epsilon.
So
Okay,
again,
we do not need that. Okay, I'm getting confused here. But anyway, we do not need that. For any I, we always know yi, right? belongs to R and which is U, EY. That is fine where it is. We do not need that. Okay. So we needed only this one. So this is true. So that will imply Y belongs to that product. I belongs to N EY. And that is subset of U. Okay. Okay. We do not write this. So this. Okay. And what was that guess? So we started with right. Now we claim this one. Okay, now that claim is achieved. Now that imply B T X comma epsilon, that is subset of this. Okay, and this is subset of U. Now see, oops. Now see, you have what you have. You have chosen U any arbitrary sets. Okay, from tau p, and you choose X from this one, and you get one open set, open ball around this. That implies for each X belongs to U, so there exists BD X comma epsilon such that X belongs to BD X comma epsilon subset of U. So that implies U belongs to tau D as well. So tau P subset of tau D. So we are done. Okay, this is the second part. So we are done. So therefore this is matrixable. Okay, so we prove both parts. So tau p subset of tau d and tau d subset of tau p. So therefore both are same. Okay.
Sir, sir, how did you get the intuition that the product topology will be metrizable?
Right. So that is a good question. So actually, whatever now, if you ask me that how do you get that intuition, how to prove this one, that's I don't know, because that is a trick that is called a paper. So even if you write a paper, you will have this kind of thing. So which one cannot guess, but that is true. Okay, so that is a good one. But if you ask me how do you get the intuition that product topology is metrizable, we can, because whenever you have that countable product and you have some product topology, something behave like some finite one. That is finite number of product only because of their open sets. What is their open sets? There are open sets only finites are there, right? And other set are. So therefore, generally, which one is satisfied by finite number of product. For an example, Rn is metrizable. So the generalization is that product topology is also metrizable. If you take that is countable number of product. So from this actually one can get the intuition that it should be metrizable. In fact, you will find everything. You can find it is countable kind of thing. You can talk about some locally compact, and you can talk about some product of compact sets are compact. Now there are many results. There will be there in the product topology. Do you remember? Note that whenever we talk about the product topology here, we talk product topology on the countable number of product, not the arbitrary product. For the arbitrary product, it is not true. Again, because of that countable, uncountable argument. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I ask you one thing. Now, if you have a closure, right?
Sir,
Uh,
does that Heine-Borel theorem get satisfied in product topology?
That's I do not know. That's I do not remember. But actually, most of the things are true there. I have to search that because now I do not remember. You can also try that. These are true or not in the product topology.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
Now there is another thing. So if you have a closure, so X from a closure, then in the matrix space it is true, right? So first of all, okay, say there is a sequence Xn in A such that Xn converges to X. Okay. Now does it imply that X belongs to a closure for any arbitrary topological space? See, first of all, X is any topological space. Okay. So first of all, see if X belongs to A, then we are done. Then you can take Xn equal to X, the constant sequence. Okay. Now what is if X not equal to A, not in A? Now if X not in A, but a sequence converges to A, right? Then since it is Xn converges to A, so there exists an open that's mean for any open set Ux containing X, you have Xn belongs to Ux for all n bigger equal to n. Or you can say there exists a natural number n. Right? This is true. And this Xn coming from A, so therefore Un minus X intersect with A equal to non-empty. And that is true for any open sets. So therefore X belongs to A closure by the definition. Fine. Now what about the converse? Now if X belongs to A closure, does it imply that there exists a sequence Xn such that Xn converges to X?
No, sir.
Okay, can you give one example?
Actually, one of our classmate Deepak asked this question in our group, so we all were very confused on this thing. Then we tried to give like examples and counter examples on this.
Hmm.
Mm,
So did you get counter example?
one counter example he got was very complicated. I could not get it. It involved filters and ultra filters kind of
Oh my.
things. Then
What about
I try to make an example in R2.
no? What about R with co-countable topology? What about R with co-countable topology and your set A equal to irrational number? What about that? And say right? Now what about say 2, or what about 0? Now 0 is a limit point of A. Yes, right? Take any open set containing 0. Now 0 belongs to A closure. Why? Take any open set containing 0. Right. Now take that open set U. Now outside of U, you have only countable many elements. Right? So that's mean U should contains irrational number. Right? For any U containing 0, U means open. We have R minus U is countable. Right? R minus U is countable. That's mean U contains many or infinitely many, you can say, elements of A. So we are done. So that's mean 0 belongs to A closure. Now again the same logic. Now take one sequence xn in A. Say xn converges to A. Okay, now let U equal to R minus that xn. That's it. Then U is countable. Sorry, U complement is countable. So therefore U is open set containing 0, but U does not contain any elements of xn. So therefore xn does not converge to 0. So this statement is not true. So not true in general. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So that is a trivial example. But if X is a matrix space, then that should be true, because of you can take 1 by n, 1, right? 1 by n, and then you can construct a sequence. You can take open ball of radius 1 by n, and then you can construct a sequence. Xn belongs to that. So in a matrix space, it is true. So in matrix space, it is true, but in general, it is not true. So therefore, if you can show that this statement, that converse statement is not true, means this statement is not true, then you can say that it is not metrizable. So by using this, we can actually prove that R omega in product topology, not product, in box topology, is not metrizable, and also Rj in product topology is not metrizable for J uncountable. We'll prove this in the next lecture. Okay.